2017 was an interesting year. It brought us some of the biggest video games, films, and comics that anyone could ask for. That's why today we're going to be taking a look back at all of my favorite things from this year. We're going to look at my favorite comic, my favorite movie, TV, video games, etc, etc. So, without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's do this. Kicking things off, we're going to talk all about comics. Now, contrary to what some, let's call them, pretentious comic book website reviewers would actually say, it was a really good year for comics. Tom King came back for another miniseries that has been delivering what is sure to be another modern-day classic with Mr. Miracle. Scott Snyder has been writing the fun but utterly batshit insane DC Metal, and Marvel, well, they've been doing something. However, to me, the one book that has stood out the most, believe it or not, has been the Flintstones.
No way.
Now before you quickly rage quit this video, hear me out. What Mark Russell has done with this series is simply put brilliant. Russell took the classic Hanna-Barbera cartoon series and made a comic that was set in the Stone Age, yet was one of the most relevant books of 2017. Tackling subject matters such as gay marriage, PTSD, and suicide, I can honestly say that this book completely caught me off guard. You see, folks, we experienced the origin of the Yabba Dabba Doo, we delve deep into the psyche of Fred Flintstone as he questions consumerism and his very own existence. In the hands of a lesser author, the subject matter that is tackled in this miniseries would be used as a simple gimmick. However, not so with Mark Russell. He is able to take these characters from our childhood and he adds a real amount of depth and weight to all of their actions. It's even more impressive when you realize that every single issue is basically a one and done. While there is a small through line of a story, for the most part, you can pick up any single issue from this miniseries and completely be fine. For those of you that have been following me for a while, it should come as no surprise that my favorite manga of the year is My Hero Academia. By this point, I'm sure most of you are tired of hearing me talk about this series, so I'll keep this brief. I first discovered this series this past summer after hearing rumblings about it from fans online. Having grown tired of a lot of the cliche hero stories that were being told by the big two, I decided why not give this a shot. I quickly fell in love. The story of Deku grabbed me and wouldn't let me go. To sum it up, a kid that was born into a world where 80% of the people in it have superpowers, unfortunately doesn't have any. However, he wants to be the greatest hero in the world. We then follow young Deku on his quest to become the world's greatest superhero. This is a story that, while yes, it falls into several tropes, has so much heart and is telling such a great tale in a world that I wish I could actually live in that it grabbed me from the very first page. It's no secret that 2017 saw a huge resurgence in genre films. Films like Get Out blew up the box office. Meanwhile, we finally got to get the Wolverine that we've always wanted in James Mangold's modern-day classic, Logan. However, my favorite film of the year has to go to Blade Runner 2049. Tackling a sequel to what many sci-fi fans consider to be one of the greatest films of all time could not have been easy, and I have to be completely honest, I was a bit skeptical. Color me surprised though when I walked out of the theater buzzing with excitement because not only did director Denis Villeneuve succeed, he knocked it out of the park. Blade Runner 2049 is set 30 years after the events of the first Blade Runner, and we follow Agent K as he unravels a mystery that could shake the very foundation of the world around him. Suffice to say, if you have not seen the film, I urge you to do so immediately. Be warned though, if you're going to watch this, it's a slow film. I actually had a huge problem after watching the film with the marketing of this. I have to be completely honest, I think this film was poorly mismanaged in terms of how the trailers depicted what it is, because when you look at the trailers it shows this slam bam action sci-fi movie, and that's not really what you're getting here. This is not your average everything explodes every 3 minutes science fiction. Much like the original movie, this takes its time and weaves a fantastic story that, thanks to Roger Deakins' gorgeous cinematography, delivers a tale that not only expands on the classic film, but in some areas even surpasses it. It's no secret that we are in what many TV fans consider to be the golden age of the medium. What was once considered an area for washed-up actors has now blossomed into an opportunity for big-name stars to flex their acting muscles and deliver amazing performances. This past year we saw great shows such as Legion, Westworld, Game of Thrones, and the return of Samurai Jack. However, if I had to pick just one that truly gripped me, I would have to go with The Handmaid's Tale. Based on the classic novel by Margaret Atwood, The Handmaid's Tale tells a gripping story of what happens in a society where the vast majority of women have suddenly become infertile. It's because of this that a religious autocracy has risen to power in the United States. The story follows a handmaid, Offred, on her quest to stay one step ahead of the government and locate her child. Gripping in every sense of the word, The Handmaid's Tale to me was the most frightening thing that I have seen all year, not because of any cheap horror elements, but because of how the cast and crew of this show sell the idea that we are really just one bad virus away from something like this actually happening. This is a series that for 10 episodes put me through an emotional roller coaster, and at the end of those episodes it left me wanting to see where Offred's story would take her next. While Netflix may have some of the strongest original shows on their platform, Hulu really has something special here, and I can see this becoming something akin to Breaking Bad, where as the years progress, the show will gain a tremendous amount of traction and a strong following. If there's one thing that I think 2017 will be remembered for, it's that it was one of the best years in recent memory for video games. 2017 brought us the return of Nintendo in a big way with the release of the Switch. It brought us Persona 5, finally, Nier Automata, and a slew of whole other various titles. However, if there was one game for me that I could not put down, it was Breath of the Wild. Combining all of the elements from previous Legend of Zelda titles, Breath of the Wild is a masterclass in design. It's not so much that it's Nintendo's first attempt at a modern-day open-world design, but the fact of just how stunningly well realized it is. Light a field on fire? The fire could spread to the trees and cook apples, so you can pick them up and they give you more health. It's the systems within the systems that make this title so special for me. I spent hours getting lost in the huge world of Hyrule only to come back to it this past week and discover an area of the game that I had never seen before. Every so often we get those games that push the industry just a little bit further. The Super Mario 64s, the Ocarina of Times, those titles that the minute they come out they are recognized as being something that will change the way video games are developed. I truly believe Breath of the Wild will be one of those titles. Overall, in terms of media and entertainment, 2017 brought us some fantastic stories and was a year full of genre-defying titles. Whether it was comics, movies, or video games, there was always something to do, watch, or download. It was a really good year. And I think I speak for everybody out there when I say that I cannot wait to see what 2018 has in store for us. If this is your first time checking out my channel, check out some of my other videos, guys. I do how to start rating videos and like a whole bunch of other thought pieces and all that good stuff. Guys, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. All that stuff is found in the description below. What were some of your favorite things of this past year? Let me know in the comment section. I love you. I'll speak to you soon.